and the state of the current economy, what we're watching. So for more detail, I'm going to talk very briefly about what we do and a company update. So we'll go through that quite quickly. The thing I'm most excited to talk about today is the true cost of commissions. This is something that I hadn't looked at for quite a while. We did an analysis on this early in the business when we were first conceptualizing, and I find it quite compelling. So I know that we're going to go overtime, so I wanted to get that one up above just in case anyone needs to fall off. Next topic will be negotiating and negotiating with agents. We'll talk about value assessment. How do you value your property? How do you know how you're performing once you're on the market? Moving up in a down market or in times where,
Jeff, we lost your audio there. I can see your lips moving. Still can't hear you. Still no dice. I can probably keep doing the voiceover of the agenda as he's getting his audio sorted out. So someone's suggesting that it could be a if you get the speaker to sign out and then sign back in again, it might fix it from a technical glitch point of view. So the other trends that we're definitely keeping laser vision on are obviously the impact that COVID has had from a real estate point of view. And looks like Jeff is getting sorted out as well, and what the industry trends actually are. So we're going to take a look and walk through today for you the actual data as it relates to home transactions, so that you're armed with this very same, if not better, information than an agent would have to be able to properly sell your home. One of the initiatives that we have is that we want to empower our sellers to do the best they possibly can when selling their home. So maybe I'll give you a quick Bōde overview. There are slides here to support. Jeff, if you're still extending your screen, if you wouldn't mind. There you go, advancing.
Yeah, how about, can you hear me now?
You're here, good.
Okay, let's hope this works. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll continue. So the Bōde solution, as I said, I want to go through this just really quickly. So what it is that we do. So we are an online marketplace that connects buyers and sellers of real estate. We put buyers and sellers in direct contact and provide all the tools that they need to successfully transact without the need for middlemen. So not only does that save money, but it makes for a more efficient marketplace. So when you list with us, we cover the cost of professional photos, measurements, and 3D virtual tours. We list your property everywhere that buyers are looking. So I've got more on this later in the presentation, but we post your property listing to realtor.ca, our own platform, Zillow, Kijiji, and thousands of other sites. What we do that's quite different is we go about marketing your specific property. So, where agents are very incentivized to market their own name and their services, we are actually out in the marketplace on Instagram, Facebook, and Google partner sites, advertising your specific listing. And what we've seen is that we're able to generate really between 2 and 4x more listing views as a result of our advertising. We put buyers in direct contact with sellers right from our listing page. They can send direct messages and book showings, much like the open table experience for restaurants, without needing to contact the buyer's agent. Buyers can then ultimately make an offer all online, and they're given everything they need in terms of market data, sold data, and the transaction tool to create a legally binding contract, all digitally. And sellers get all of the above for just 1%. So we take all the risk. We pay for all the upfront costs of photos, measurements, virtual tours, and MLS fees. And we only earn a fee when you are successful in selling your home. So why that's important is that it aligns incentives. So we are fully incentivized to do the best we can to sell your home. So I mentioned the property advertisements that we deploy. So these are just a couple sample ads that we have for a builder, Brookfield Residential here in Calgary. These are carousel. So you'll see a number of photos and a call to action, in this case, book a viewing, which will take a buyer to your listing page on our website, where they can then interact with you directly, book a showing with you directly, and ultimately make that offer. For those that haven't seen, we have a bit of a different signage experience. So the sign that we install on your front lawn is this kind of teardrop shape, and a buyer that has our app can walk up to the sign, scan it with their phone, and they're given this experience that you view here, which is the owner's highlight, which is something that is really the best feature of your home: the price, the beds, baths, and the square footage. And from this experience they have on their phone, they can go directly to the listing page, again, to do those things we mentioned, book showings and use the messaging tool. The other thing that we have been working very hard on over the last few months is getting folks the information they need to transact real estate in a very comprehensive way with all the information that they need. So we've launched market data. If you are looking for information on a specific community, we have launched all the information that you might need, like what the sold price is per square foot, how many active listings there are, all of that information that's relevant to you. And we often say, I see some articles sometimes in the National Post about the Canadian real estate market, and there just isn't a Canadian real estate market. Even between provinces, we have, if you look at how Toronto and Vancouver has performed over the last few years, it's very different. So not only do you want to drill down on a provincial basis, but you really want to drill down on a community basis as well. And our analytics allow you to do that. Sold data, freely available. We're the first to do this. We're not the first to release sold data, but the groups that I've seen that have done this, it's with a catch, and it's very much a marketing lead gen tool for those outfits. Here we allow you to look up any property to have sold in the past 10 years for free, no catches. We just feel that is transparency that everyone deserves to have. And it is the thing that realtors have gate kept for so long. And comparables. So this is an exciting tool that we've been working on. It is an objective view of what is the best comparable to your home. We have a patent pending on this algorithm, but if you go in and say, I own a 2015 home in Evanston, it has a double attached garage and 1,800 square feet, we will then give you an objective view of the best comparables. So you can see here on that icon that we have match scores. So based on the information that you've given us, we can tell you that this home is a 95.6% match to the subject property. And why that's important is, again, it's all in the name of transparency. So agents have have the ability to call it cherry pick the comparables that they show you in a way that serves their best interests. And we really feel that you should have all the data at your fingertips. So I want to talk a little bit about where we're at. So the Bōde company update. We have been in the market just over 1 year. So we launched September of last year with the first iteration of our marketplace and a team of 8 people. And yeah, we're just over 1 year, and it's been a lot of fun. We've proven that there's a demand for this service. We've gone live across all of Alberta. We have listings in Edmonton, Blackfalds, Red Deer, Calgary. We've listed in Medicine Hat, have had transactions in the Crow's Nest Pass. It's very exciting. Currently, we are marketing over 90 million of active listings across the province, and we've completed over 50 transactions. And we've doubled our team size, and that's really been in an effort to keep the customer service where we really want it to be, and also improve it as we move forward and grow. We are now in the top 10% of brokerages in Alberta, even after just 1 year by value of property listed, which I always find quite interesting, because top 10% brokerages are sometimes, they might have 400, 500, 600 agents. And in our case, we're a small team, absolutely driven to the success of our users.
Hooray!
Thanks, Linz. So performance versus the market, we continue to outperform the Alberta averages in terms of days on market. The Alberta average is 60. Our average is 49. Of the homes that we list, we are closing 62% over the 48% average. And we tend to have a higher listing value as well. So our average listing across active listings is 720,000 versus the average of 400. Okay, this is the kind of segment, call it, that I'm quite excited about, and it's the true cost of commissions. So, I've never really, I think that most people buying and selling real estate have a pretty good experience. I think that you've got someone working in your interest, they're taking you around. I don't think that they actually have a poor experience buying and selling real estate. It's just very expensive. And in these next slides, I hope to demonstrate just how expensive it is. So the average Calgary home price in September for a detached home was $488,100. The Royal Bank of Canada 5-year fixed interest rate is posted rate is currently 4.79%, so 4.8%, which I know a lot of people are getting money a lot cheaper, but 4.8% is not crazy. I've had mortgages, 5.5%, and this is the posted 5-year, which over my course of selling real estate, most of my clients would go a 5-year fixed mortgage, so 4.8%. If we take that information and calculate a monthly mortgage payment with 5% down, so you're putting $24,000 down, you have a mortgage loan of $464,000, and you amortize that for 30 years, your monthly mortgage payment is $2,430. As a general rule, just kind of as an aside, I usually say it's about $500. Your monthly mortgage payment is about $500 for every 100,000 loaned. So in this case, if it was 500, it'd be 2,500. It's in the ballpark if you ever want to do a quick estimate on that. So a typical commission, got a bit of weird formatting here, but the typical commission charged by a listing agent for the total commission is 7% on the first 100,000 and 3% on the balance of this final sale price. So at the average sale price of 488,000, it's kind of blurred there, but the number is 18,640. So let's say you purchase this property, and a few years down the road you want to sell it. I'll throw up a quick poll. My question to the attendees would be, how many months of mortgage payments would be required to cover the cost of that commission? So you know that your monthly mortgage payment is $2,430, and you know that your commissions, if you're paying a standard commission, is about $18,000, $18,640. So, Maren, can we throw up that poll for everyone to, if that works? So hopefully that's popped up for you. I can't actually see it. So I'm going to move forward. I'll give another kind of 10 seconds for people to enter their answer. So it's 31 months. So if you bought an average home in Calgary today, it would be nearly 3 years before you have enough equity in that home to pay the commissions. And in the next few slides, I'll show you exactly how that looks. So your payments are $2,430, but what you can see, and what we all kind of understand, is that most of our payments are going towards interest in the early years of a loan. So here you can see the principal on first payment is only $579, and that grows very slowly in equity. So by the end of the first year, you have $7,000 of equity in your home. By the end of the second year, you still don't have enough to pay the commissions. You have $14,500 of equity in your home. It really isn't until almost the end of the third year where we see you have enough equity in your home to pay commissions. What's even more, kind of shocking is when you see the number in payments that you've paid after 31 months. So you've made payments of $56,000 on that loan, and essentially that is wiped out by the services that you're hiring to, and the commissions paid.
That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I know it's been so long since we've looked at that, but every time I look at it, I just want people to know that those numbers, right? And I think that the real estate fees that are charged, because we think of them psychologically as 3%, we don't think it's a big number, but when you add in the total payments that are made, it's a massive value. And I think that going forward, more people are going to be looking at different cost options.
Yeah, owning a home for a year and a half, and it takes a 32nd month to start getting equity in your actual home as opposed to paying off your realtors.
Yeah, that's why we're out there, and that's why there's such an appetite for new options.
Someone should make a business that helps people save money on realtors.
What a great idea! So this next one, this is the building where when I was 21, I bought my first condo, and I don't know, this was probably 13 years ago. I paid just over $130,000, and the reason I bring this up is my agent at the time, who's still a very good friend of mine, she earned about $4,000 on this purchase, and she drove me around to a lot of properties. We were putting ink on paper contracts. She sat with the seller at the dining room table to negotiate this deal. And so she earned $4,000. So fast forward 13 years, these units now sell for, I would say, double. Let's say it's $270,000. And commissions haven't changed. Commissions on the buy side are still that 3.5% on the first 100,000 and 1.5 on the balance. So an agent selling that exact same unit that I owned when I was going to university will earn double. So they'll now earn $8,000 on that same transaction. All the while, technology has made that process a lot more efficient. So we have apps on our phones that open lock boxes. We have digital signing signature software like DocuSign and AuthentiSign. And the biggest thing is that most of the buyers in the marketplace are doing all of their own due diligence. They're finding the properties that are of interest. And before the digital age, that wasn't an option, but it certainly is now. And what I find really interesting about that is that I don't think you could point to another profession in agriculture or medical or any other sector where in the past 12 years, they have doubled their salary, 5, 8, 10%, sure, but to actually be in a position to make double the money, I just don't see it as sustainable. I know we're going to go crazy over time, so forgive me for moving so quickly. I do want to chat about value assessment yet, because it's something that we get a lot of questions on. So when you're listing, I think it's really important to consider the 3 Ps. So price, presentation, and promotion. And of these, price will be the most important. So if you're not priced appropriately as a seller, you simply won't sell. And we've had those listings definitely over my career of selling real estate. I've had those listings. The one thing that we would often say is that if you're getting lots of showings but no offers, you might be off by 5%. And if you're getting very few or no showings at all, you're likely off 10% or more. Presentation. All I'm going to talk about here is just photos, the importance of professional photography. So if you submit a listing to our team and it has iPhone or Motorola Razr photos, that's great. We are going to highly encourage, and we will pay for, professional photos. It is the single most important thing when advertising your listing. I know for myself, I don't look at virtual tours. I don't look at videos. I will determine if a property is of interest very quickly in the first, call it 5 to 10 clicks of photos. And those are going to be very quick clicks. So be thoughtful when you put the order of photos in place. Promotion is all about being where buyers are looking. And to demonstrate that, I just want to show everyone where we post our sellers' listings. So the obvious one is on our platform. So this is what our listing page looks like. I think it's very well designed. It shows beds, baths. It really looks like any other. Of course, you're on there. You're on realtor.ca. Now, this is the place where, our Bōde organic traffic continues to grow every week. We review it. We're getting more and more people to our site. But the reality is you need to be on realtor.ca. And to be on here, this is why Bōde is a licensed brokerage. In 2019, the listing page views on realtor.ca totaled 983 million. So you really need to be here. That's a given. And it's why I think so few properties that put a for sale by owner sign on the lawn or simply post to something like Craigslist, they don't see much success. Next, on Zillow. So Zillow is a very large US brokerage. We post our properties, as you can see, Marydover, 61 Marydover Drive. You can see this is listed on Zillow. It's really quite a nice experience for searching for property. In my last few years of selling real estate, more and more of my buyers agent is working in your best interest. Well, there's brokerages, RE/MAX being the big one here in Alberta, that has not partnered with Zillow. So in my mind, if you're working in your seller's best interest, you're posting that property as many places as possible. And we've signed an agreement with Zillow to post our listings to Zillow. And if you list with a RE/MAX agent, you simply aren't on this platform. And our metrics show that the traffic going to Zillow continues to increase in Canada. This is just the remax.calgary.ca web page. Again, we have all the permissions turned on so that listings get sent everywhere. CIR, another very large independent here in Calgary. Many of you will recognize this name. This agent spends a lot of money on advertising, definitely well into 7 figures every year. And it's in our seller's best interest to post property on this website as well. So we're there. And Kijiji. So all of our sites go to the eBay subsidiary Kijiji. Again, you can see that this Marydover listing is on there as well.
One of the points there is, although we post all of these listings, we post them everywhere buyers are looking. The vast majority of the views end up on our own site. 3x the amount that would even land on realtor.ca, even though they have so much traffic because of the advertising we do on a listing by listing basis. So it is absolutely critical that we do that advertising piece to put your property's best foot forward there.
Yeah, definitely. Negotiating with agents. So I'm only going to spend a second, like 1 minute on this one because it's come up quite a bit. Most of our sellers offer a buy-side commission, but many do not, and many don't offer what we'll call a standard or typical commission. And so I think it's really been quite easy. We simply say that, or we simply suggest to our sellers that you say that the property was listed with no buy-side commission contemplated, but that you're open to offers. So we had an agent do this very thing in Lake Bonavista Vista. We posted this home for it on his behalf at $549. Beautiful home. I think it was priced well, but not too low. And he was not offering a buy-side commission. He went to the buy-side agent that was interested in writing an offer, and the buy-side agent simply said, counter our offer with my commission included. So it ended up selling for over list because of that in 3 days. And I think he's been ecstatic about his experience. Moving up in the down market, this is something that I did just recently. The point that I'm going to make here is that if you are looking to move up when sales are difficult or when properties are selling for quite a bit under list, net you can get ahead. So, I sold an Outdoor home that I was planning to develop back in May, and certainly took way less than what I'd hoped to get out of the property, but moved into a home that was of much greater value. So the example that I have here is that if the market has dropped or properties are selling for 10% less than what the original price was, you stand to lose $30,000 on the sale of your property. But if you're moving up, you might gain 50, which puts you 20,000 ahead. I think, intuitively this makes sense to most, but always happy to spend more time on these examples as well. Whirlwind, we're at 12 o'clock. I'm going to want to talk about the 3 trends that we're watching as a company.
Yeah, why don't you talk through those trends? If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A and I will help answer them along the way or interrupt Jeff with the questions as well.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Lens. So the 3 trends we're watching, the most obvious one that we've been keeping a very close eye on is the impact of COVID. So if we look at what supply and demand has done over the last 3 years, if you look at this first chart, this is new listings. 2018 is in purple, 2019 in green, and 2020 in blue. As we might expect, in April, kind of March, April, we saw a big drop in listings. And we saw an equal drop in sales. So we might have expected sales in April to be around 1,500 based on the previous 2 years. We saw them drop to about 500, which is funny because I think 2 of those were actually mine. one list and 1 purchase. So we saw new listings drop about 60%. We saw sales drop about the same. And Economics 101 would suggest that prices don't really change when supply and demand both drop an equal amount. And we kind of saw that, especially in the first few months. There was more uncertainty, and I think that there was not hysteria, but a little bit of panic in the market. But we didn't really see, statistically much in the way of price changes. So given this information, the next trend that we're watching is listing in winter. So we get this question a lot, is it a good time to list? And then with our current users, should I pull? pull my property off the market through the winter months, through Christmas. And my suggestion on this, based on the data, would be to remain on market if you are currently on the market, and bring your home to market if you are considering it. Everyone understands that homes don't always show as good in winter, especially if your yard is a selling feature. But if we look first at the inventory chart, you can see that there's every year looks quite similar, and there's a dramatic drop in listings every November and December. And I expect probably the same to happen this year. But what we see here is that the month of supply now is way lower than kind of normal for this year. So you do have less competition as a seller on the market. The third thing we're watching is the urban exodus. So this has been in the news a little bit. It's a bit of a worldwide phenomenon where people are looking at their home and the way that they live in the midst of a pandemic and moving to the suburbs. So we have seen this. If we look at a heat map of sales, you can see the red is higher numbers of sales, and you can see that the outskirts is selling a lot better than the core. And again, intuitively, I think that makes a lot of sense. For folks that buy smaller apartments downtown, it's because of all the things that the city offers to them, right? It's the bars, it's the boutique fitness classes, it's restaurants. People will sacrifice living in a smaller apartment for all the things that a city has to offer. And those things have been closed for the last 6 months. So, people are looking at these apartments and saying, well, if I move to the suburbs, I can be in more space. There's a lot of reconsideration of where you live in the midst of a pandemic. Things like high-speed fiber optic internet has become way more important to people. Even if you consider the tech glitch that we had, I've got great internet here, but that's become more important as we video conference more often. So areas like Airdrie, Cochrane, they've performed very well. And this is a phenomenon that's not unique to our city. This has been documented in the UK and the US as well. Okay, just about to wrap things up. We are offering, or I am offering, to conduct one-on-one seller consultations. We're going to do these on Monday, October 12th. In the next slide, you'll get my contact information. If we can, if you'd like 15 minutes to chat or spend some time going through market data or the listing process with Bōde, any questions, I am going to make myself available during the following times. And you can reach me here. My email address, jeff@bodecanada.com. And as you can see, my cell phone number is very easy. Call or text me, 464-JEFF, anytime. Be happy to help.
Jeff, that's a nerdy phone number. And number two, I have a couple questions from the audience.
Sure.
If you had a magic wand, what is the thing that you would, and I've got to close my screen here. I don't know how to close my screen. I'm in the process of answering how fantastic your webinar was. If you had a magic wand, what is the one thing you would change as a company? What would you want to make a reality as a company? Do you want me to give you my answer, and then you can think about your answer while you're answering?
Yes, I think I've got mine, but go for it.
Okay, I would just make information and data so transparent to all homeowners that and the education around all of real estate to understand and empower people to fundamentally believe in themselves and what is it and what they can do to get the most out of their real estate transaction. Your turn.
Yeah, mine would kind of mirror that answer. It would be just education and a little bit of education on the topic, as we demonstrated in those first few slides, can save a lot of money. And I have to be careful what I say because I am a member of so many boards and the Canadian Real Estate Association. But the thing that they do over and over is the fear mongering of, don't go it alone. This is really, really scary. And what I would say is that it's not scary. You have the resources. You know your real estate better than any agent will. And I think that transacting in this manner is not only saves money, but it's just a transparent process. And it's not as complicated as most organizations would want you to believe.
And then there is a follow-up question. So if that became, what is it that is preventing us, or what are the current challenges that prevent us from getting to that point of awesomeness?
Sorry, I was just, you cut out there for a sec as I stopped sharing my screen lens.
What are the current challenges that we face in order to be able to get to that utopia state?
Yeah, I think just more education and awareness, and we have that all in our roadmap. What I've kind of said about our company is we've spent a lot of time building the transaction tool, but that was only ever one piece of the puzzle, right? Just because you have a digital transaction tool doesn't actually give you all the tools. So that's where the second piece of the puzzle came in with market and sold data, and that's been incredibly valuable, and we will continue to refine those tools. So.
Yeah, I agree completely, and a little bit of a mind shift from homeowners to stop taking for granted the same old way and ask questions and be inquisitive to try and search out answers that might be a better solution for you. We're not going to be for everyone, for sure. That we're not here for world dominance. We're here for creating the best solution for the people who would like to transact their homes this way, and make sure that we provide that information to all homeowners that they would see of value and information they should have. So to me, the current challenge is people taking for granted what they've known to be true from decades ago, as opposed to looking forward to the future. And then, so the follow-up questions here. So more of a comment than a question, but it's worth the discussion. The user says, I believe that the regulations regarding access to market data allowed public access a few years ago, but I'm not certain. As a brokerage, do you get access to market data? However, would giving access to the public break any rules?
Yeah, so this comes back to the Competition Tribunal against the Toronto Real Estate Board, which I think they were in courts for something like 12 years. We can't allow users to export the data, and we can't allow users to see the data unless they're in a logged in state. If you're in a logged in state with an account, we are within all rules and regulations to display that information.
And that's true specifically of sold data, the sold prices. Market data is free and clear to be consumed by all public people. So those dashboards we don't require you to log in. But yes, the regulations require us to log in. And then there is another follow-up question of what would it be that would be able to take us to that next level or that utopia state? Is it more investment, like more financial investment? Is it technical expertise? Is it time? What is the specific barrier to entry there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just awareness, right? And more peer-to-peer transactions. We've a lot of our transactions still involve an agent on one side. For Bōde buyers, they're likely buying an agent listed property. But when we get to a point where you can toggle on you can do this now on our website. You toggle on and off which listings are represented by Bōde. And when we get to a place where buyers prefer the experience of buying direct, then that's going to be a massive catalyst for our growth. When people come to visit Bōde because they know the experience that they can expect and the transparency in that process, that's where things get very interesting.
Yeah, we've had conversations with people who have become friends when they bought and sold directly to one another, because now the new people who are moving in have fallen in love with the home that the sellers were also in love with, and they've now become fast friends and actually hang out together. So it is such an interesting process, and a totally different philosophy around trust and around communication and direct access to the people who are actually selling or buying the home. It is a game changer, that is for certain. We have another question here for you. Does Bōde allow for searches on size, square foot, lot size, acreage, etc.? And then also maybe a follow on to that is the safe search functionality.
Yeah, so you can search all those parameters. We are working very hard with our technical team to give our users as many parameters as they might like. So whatever parameters you want to search on, we're making those available. And another feature that we released not too long ago was Save Search. So if you are interested in a particular community, let's call it Cliff Bungalow, you can scroll your search to that area. You can say, my criteria is for 3 bedrooms and something over 1,800 square feet with at least 2 enclosed parking spaces. Hit Save Search, and then you're prompted to let us know how frequently you want those notifications. So if you want those as soon as possible, or every morning, or every Sunday morning while you're having your coffee, you can set that up. So set up your Save Searches. You can set up as many as you like. I know when I was selling real estate, I'd have clients that would say, well, we're interested in say the inner city, but we'd also kind of consider moving out to Rocky View, to Springbank. So you can set up as many searches as you want. You might have a search in place for investment property, for a son or daughter. That's a tool that is really useful. And again, like everything we're doing, we will continue to refine these and always welcome feedback.
Excellent. And with that, there are no more questions. So I think that is a great point to allow people to go for their lunch. We, once again, would happily receive any extra questions, or if we didn't answer the question you're really hoping that we did, please let us know. One last question, which is a fantastic question that I do want to end at, is, are you looking to grow your team more? And the answer is, we are actively looking for a couple of roles. So if you are interested in a game changer like Bōde, don't hesitate to reach out to Jeff. And he will pass along resumes and or interested videos. We love receiving video applications over to the appropriate executive team member to make sure that we properly evaluate your credentials. So thank you so much. And thanks, Jeff, for all of your wisdom as usual.
Thanks very much.